Recording in progress.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the special meeting tonight. With that, if we could have a roll call.
Luther,
Here.
Burstad, here. Sutherland,
Here.
Yanko,
Here.
McCullough, Schwebs,
Here. Here.
Gens,
Here.
Silberg, here. Schlew,
Yeah.
Erdman,
We don't have approval of minutes.
Sommerfeld.
Here. Okay, thank you. One note tonight, I'm requesting that all council members and all speakers, please speak up a little bit louder because sometimes we can't always hear. And also the recording doesn't always pick up as well as. So please use your microphone and speak into the microphone. It has to be quite close in order for us to hear that. So I'm requesting that everybody please speak a little louder this evening. Thank you. Okay, with that, no approval of minutes, no public hearings. Public comments, we'll reserve that for anybody that wants to speak on the subsidy request for the evening. This should be a pretty easy forward meeting this evening. There's a list of subsidies and subsidy and agencies requesting subsidy requests. With that, we can get started. Eric, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I just want to make a statement real quick. There are folks that have asked me over the course of the years that I've worked here, and especially this past year, as to subsidies and why it is the city gives out subsidies. And over the course of history here in Menomonie of giving out subsidies, we've done so to help the organizations that without such funding would otherwise struggle in areas to provide services that then would befall directly upon government or have an impact on other governmental services that frankly would end up costing us a considerable amount of money. So being able to help these organizations that do put in subsidy requests after careful examination will oftentimes result in a savings for taxpayers as time goes on. Example, some of the subsidies that may come in may have certain programs that help people who are struggling. If we didn't have those particular programs, it may impact our healthcare, may impact policing services, ambulance and services, and driving up our costs as taxpayers. So that's just a real quick high-level explanation as to why we've done subsidies in the past. And they do provide a value to our community. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eric. With that being said, I think we can open up for public comments, a portion of our meeting where anybody can speak to the microphone and speak for 3 minutes or less. And we're going to open it up tonight regarding the subsidies and other issues on this special meeting. So Anita, go ahead and turn your microphone on and please talk loud.
I should be able to handle that.
And
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, give us your address and your full name.
Okay, my name is Anita Keeler. My address is 1307 Tanner Street, Menomonie, Wisconsin. My phone number is 715-505-0069. I am the Ludington Guard band president. I really appreciate everything that the city and the city council and actually the community has been so supportive to our group. This last year, we were able to bring in the Dallas Brass, which did a clinic with the 7th and 8th graders and then performed a concert that night with the kids. And it was an amazing night, and I'm so glad that we were able to do it. And like I said, we had a lot of support from the community to be able to do that. So our season, I thought, was wonderful. this is going to be my 4th year. So I'm still kind of finding my way, especially since my first year was during the pandemic. So just kind of trying to do more with the community as far as bringing in local groups to do intermissions and the pie and ice cream and the popcorn. And I'm in the process of coordinating Tuba Christmas. So if you guys aren't busy on December 10th, St. Joe's Catholic Church, we're going to be doing Tuba Christmas. So
Anita, this is a little out of practice for me, but I know you've got to leave early tonight, but
yes.
I know you applied for more funding for the subsidy request. Can you tell me what that additional funding would be used for?
We were wanting to get some more benches for the park because I'm happy to say that we have such great attendance that we're short benches, and the old benches that were there are getting to a point where they're not fixable.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And,
thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chief.
My name's Gary Coles. I represent Evergreen Cemetery on your chart. My address is 2203 Dairyland Road. And I guess the reason I'm speaking second is our needs are exactly what he just addressed a moment ago. If you can imagine trying to raise $32,000 a year to do mowing and tree trimming for a cemetery, it's pretty hard. So the subsidy that you provide us allows us to continue operating. This is our 150th year, actually.
Wow.
And if we run out of money, the day comes the city has to operate it. So by statute. So we appreciate your help and we'll continue to keep it as a private association as long as we can.
Gary, thank you so much for being here tonight. And we do appreciate your efforts and also the Evergreen Cemetery's efforts to maintain that site. So thank you again. Next, if there's somebody else that'd like to speak, public comment is open.
Hello, my name is Melissa Nealand. My address is 1820 John Russell Road, and our phone number is 715-232-8685. That's the Rossbach Museum in Wakanda Park. I wanted to speak as briefly as possible today, my short notes. We have accomplished so much over this past year, but first and foremost, I just wanted to state that the Solar Victory Garden panel project, the panels are installed and tested, and we are literally just waiting on our meters to get switched over, and we will be producing power. And a big part of that is thanks to the city for believing on us. And we're so excited to be a part of the 2050 energy goals and representing that for the city of Menomonie. I'm also presenting on the solar panel project and how Menomonie has really backed this to a number of different organizations and conventions for different historic sites. And so we're really putting Menomonie on the map that way. So just thank you so much for your support and belief in that project. We're also really excited to be partnering more and more with community organizations at the Historical Society, including Health Done Right and Mayo Clinic, to provide a museum walking program so people have a place to walk during the winter that is all one level and safe and large, and some interesting things to look at while you're watching as well. So there's mental stimulation as well as keeping up with your health. So that's a really fun partnership. We've been able to partner with the Rotary to work on a new Craft State Bank exhibit, including a new short film that we're going to also be showing to different conventions, showing the sophistication of our museum. We are working on civic events with the League of Women Voters, working with senior care facilities to develop programming for those who have mobility issues, and really providing meaningful programming for seniors in our community who can't come to us. We think it's really important that they are included and we share and talk to them about their history. We also were just recently called by the Menomonie Fire Department to see if we could take on a massive part of Menomonie history, and that was their 1946 fire truck, which is now on display at the museum. And we're really excited to be sharing a part of Menomonie history and also a new transportation story, and it just looks really cool. So should definitely come and see it. And let's see. Also, Thursday nights now, we changed our hours from 2 to 8 to be more available to families in the community who cannot come, of course, from 11 to 5 during working hours or school hours. So along with that, we've now decided to start doing more STEM programming, including Girls Who Code, Lego League, coding, sewing classes, electronics, drawing. We're trying to do as much as we can to make all of these things available to community members and be a center for how historic skills are still really important today. And we are very excited this year. We had 250 members and our goal was to get to 300, and we surpassed that this year to over 305 members. So that's a pretty big percentage jump for us, and we look forward to continuing to grow. And then last but not least, coming up this December 9th will be our third Wakanda Wonderland event, which is one of just many awesome holiday events that happen in our community. We bring together over 60 service organizations, churches, community groups, and families to light up the museum ground with decorated trees. This is a free event to bring our community together and to celebrate in a dark time of the year and see that we're all stronger together. We love having this event, love having everyone come to it. And we love being a part of all the great work happening to build our community. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity to share. And I want to ask for you to continue your support for the Historical Society in that amount of $5,000. Switching hats very quickly, I would also just like to say, as a board member for the Mabel Tainter, I would like to encourage you to continue your support of this amazing part of our community. I think we're all stewards of this irreplaceable gift given to our community as a historic legacy. And I think that maintaining their subsidy of $60,000 is an important way to ensure that we can not only provide great historical programming, but also just keep the building going, especially with a big step replacement project this year. So thank you so much for all of your support and your time.
Well, thank you, Melissa. I appreciate all that the museum has going on other than just being a museum. I think it's pretty incredible for the city of Menomonie and your membership growth. That speaks highly of the work that you're doing also. So thank you for all that you bring to Menomonie. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, anybody else like to speak? Here's your opportunity.
Hello, everyone. My name is Austin with Dunn County Transit. 640 Stokey Parkway, Menomonie, Wisconsin, and 715-231-2681. In regards to our transit subsidy request and the 10% increase that we requested this year, fuel costs have over doubled since 2020. We were able to give free rides out to all community members that utilize the community route from 2021 through June of 2021 through August of 2023, over 2 years of free utilization of that community route. When we first started that route, we were getting 0 to 3 riders per day. I talked about this last year and how it improved from then. Even in our summer months now, we are getting over 500 community riders using that per month. When the Stout students come back, that turns into 1,500. Everyone has got a packet at their seat for all of our numbers and how they've increased and doing so much more with the same amount, and how we've really utilized the bus service as a community and improved it. Since we've brought back fares in September of 22 or September 23, a couple months ago now, it's still cheaper than pre-COVID. It's only 75 cents or 50 cents ambulatory and elderly and disabled versus $1.50 or 75. Our ridership as a whole of all of our routes is 15 to 20% better than the second best year that we've had over the past 9 years that we have for data. So we're doing a lot more with the same budget, and we, with the rising costs of everything else, without reducing service, that's what this extra request is for. UW Stout is the other subsidy that we ask for every year. They've increased 3% 2 years in a row, the past couple, to help out. And we appreciate what we've had from the city for this past decade, and appreciate the consideration. Thank you.
Okay, Austin, thank you for being here tonight. What would you attribute your readership increase to? How did you make that transition?
So it was actually, we looked at the data back in 2020, 21, and saw a few bus stops that weren't getting used, look at the historicals, cut a couple stops off, and we're able to get that route down to be a 1 hour loop instead of an hour and a half loop that would only go to the east side every odd hour plus noon, and the south side every even hour minus noon is very hard to follow. Mm-hmm. So it's the same loop every hour, 8 hours, and then made it free to the public because the ridership was so low, it wasn't bringing in anything. We're able to expand exposure on that route. give a free service to the public when we could, spread awareness on how it worked, and it's been a great addition to that
Good.
for the past 3 years.
Well, I've heard amazing things about your leadership with the transit, so thank you for that. And I'd also like to know, how do you spell your last name?
WITT.
Just like it sounds.
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for being here this evening. Appreciate it.
Good evening, council. My name is Lucas Chase, and I'm the executive director at the Mabel Tainter Theater located at 205 Main Street East. I am once again urging and asking that the city council sustains our subsidy at the $60,000 level. That might seem like a lot of money, but knowing the building, knowing the amount of money that it costs to keep the building up, it is a small amount. It's roughly 7% of our annual budget. I was just in conversation the other day with a gentleman from the State Historical Society, and he told me that the Mabel Tainter is the second most architecturally significant building in the state. And naturally, I asked, well, what is the first? And he told me the state capitol. So that just goes to show what we have in our community. And I really urge you to continue our $60,000 level. With this $60,000, we are able to offer free events to the community that we have started the last few years, like Mabel's Community Celebration that happens in May. We have our Holiday Artisan Market, which begins next weekend, or 2 weekends from now, excuse me, November 17th and 18th. Something else that we started this year, we were able to bring all 4th grade students to see a performance at the Mabel Tainter free of charge. The Mabel paid for the busing and for the artist fees. And we also did a pre-show tour for all these students. So that just ensures that every student in the Menomonie School District is able to come and see what a spectacular building that the Mabel Tainter is. And then again in December, we are starting up an event that Maggie Foote actually started back in the 1980s, the Messiah Sing. So that will be December 23rd. But just to talk a little bit about where we're going from here, the Mabel is partnering with the Community Foundation of Dunn County to hire a full-time fund development officer to help kick off our 5-year, $7.6 million capital and comprehensive campaign. That'll consist of a $2.2 million capital expenditures and $5 million to build our endowment. With that, we would get roughly $200,000 on an average 5% return, which would be a great thing. And I just did some research on other theaters in the area, and a similar theater is in Red Wing, Minnesota, the Sheldon Theater. That is completely subsidized by the city of Red Wing. They have about a $900,000 operating budget annually. So that just goes to show the commitment that Red Wing has to the Sheldon, and I believe that Menomonie would do the same thing and keep our $60,000 subsidy as it is. Thank you so much.
Lucas, if we wanted to, just a place for you to give a plug, to find out where the shows and all that are available at, where does a person go to find out your schedule?
Absolutely. They can stop by our box office Thursday through Saturday from 11 to 4. We have pamphlets there. We can mail them out, or they can go online to mabeltainter.org.
.org. Okay, mabeltainter.org.
You got it.
Great. Thank you, Lucas.
Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, public comments is open.
Hi, my name is Dick Edwards. I live at N7547 537th Street, Menomonie, and my phone number is 507-259-1540. I moved to Menomonie from Rochester when I retired from the Mayo Clinic, where I was a senior administrator. My wife and I have Menomonie family roots, and we have a business interest in downtown Menomonie. In Rochester, I represented the Mayo Clinic in the leadership of the Rochester Civic Music, the Rochester Arts Center, and the Rochester Symphony Orchestra and Chorale. Shortly after moving here, I joined the Mabel Tainter Board of Directors and served for 6 very challenging years. Fewer shows and events, low attendance, weak patron and corporate support, plenty of red ink, and 4 executive directors. Then, as a newcomer, I was initially struck and am continued to be pleased to see the extent of which city leadership has stood by the Mabel in good times and in less good times, providing critically important financial support to help the Mabel get to where it is today. Today, by any metric, the Mabel Tainter is alive and thriving and is increasingly well-positioned for the future. Today, the Mabel offers more shows and events, more books, more sold out concerts, has significantly increased individual patron and corporate financial support, received the recognition and support of state and national arts organizations, created highly popular community-wide gathering events, and removed red ink from the Mabel balance sheet. I haven't done the math, but I know that over time, the city of Menomonie has made significant financial investments in the stabilization, growth, and success of the Mabel in service to our community. And I would submit that your investment has paid great dividends. I have some understanding of municipal governance and budget cycles and tax revenues and the demands on you as leaders as you make critical funding decisions. I'm here tonight to ask that you continue your historic and essential support of the Mabel and that you not reduce the amount from last year's subsidy, maybe even consider an increase. In this community, in any community, when something is viewed as valuable and is in rough times, leadership rises to the occasion, as you have done, to help for the good of the community. Likewise, when something of value in the community is proving to be a demonstrable success in service to the community, it deserves to be rewarded, not penalized for its effort. I've rejoined the Mabel Board of Directors and tonight ask that you please continue your support and send the message to all that the Mabel Tainter matters in Menomonie. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dick, for being here this evening. Thank you for re-serving on the Board of Directors. Appreciate that very much. I'm sure your talents and wherewithal is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's hard to follow that.
But Lucy, before you get started.
I'm Lucy Widener. My address is E3478 378th Avenue in Menomonie. My phone number is 715-497-2998. I'm a current member of the Board of Directors. I rejoined again this year. I don't know what they were thinking when they asked me to come back on again, but they did. Anyway, but I've been involved with the Mabel Tainter since 1975 in a variety of ways. And it was interesting during COVID when the building was shut down, I had the opportunity to go up into the attic and clean everything out of the attic and go through every piece of paper. I learned a lot more about the history of the Mabel Tainter. And I got involved in a genealogy project in dealing and contacting with members of both sides of the Tainter family. So I would like to continue with that genealogy project, and we're probably going to need part of the subsidy to do what we need to do as far as demonstrating the various different members of the Tainter family, both on the Native American side as well as the other side. I've been a director, a performer. I'm also part of the I'm a historian. And I give a lot of tours. And when people walk into the building, the wow factor is really amazing. And it really is exciting to be able to point out various different things. If people come in for a performance, they just kind of walk around with their mouths open, can't believe that this building is located in little old Menomonie. Judy Collins came, and the first time she walked on, she took out her phone, she took a picture, and she said to her husband, "You cannot believe this building is located here in Menomonie." She said, "I don't know what they did," but she said they did something good to have it here. And we're lucky. We are one of the 15th most beautiful theaters in the world, and we need to keep that historical piece of it, but we also need to keep the tourism factor that's involved in the fact that we are the 15th most beautiful theater in the world. We are well known in the Chippewa Valley. We are well known in Northwest Wisconsin. We are also fortunate to have Lucas Chase as our executive director. I've known Lucas since he was 8. He's been in many of my shows. And he is a tireless worker and has brought the Mabel Tainter into the forefront right now as far as performance and being successful. But we always need, as all the other organizations that are here, we always need your subsidy. We appreciate the fact that you have subsidized us in the past. And Dick Edwards was fortunate enough to be able to ask you to raise it. I'm asking you at least to keep it at 60,000 and not to reduce it. And thank you for your time.
Well, Lucy Widener, thank you for being here this evening. I know that I've known you for as long as I can remember, and that was a very powerful speech. So second to none. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jen McDermott. I'm from the Bridge to Hope. I am the Director of Domestic Violence Victim Services. We are located at 2110 4th Avenue Northeast, and our phone number is 715-235-9074. I want to thank you for this opportunity. We recently celebrated our 41st anniversary of providing free and confidential services to victims of human trafficking, sexual assault, and domestic abuse. You have funded us at the $10,000 level for the past 7 years, and we're very grateful for that. We provide a good value for the hard-earned taxpayer dollars. We work closely with the Menomonie Police Department and many other community partners to keep our community safe, to keep victims from further violence, and to provide an emergency shelter for families fleeing abuse and violence. 96 people lost their lives in Wisconsin due to domestic violence in 2022, and that's up from 80 in 2021. In 2022, we provided shelter for a total of 101 individuals and in-person personal advocacy to over 322 individuals. We had a total of 29,000 crisis response calls, and this represents an overall 200% increase since 2017. As numbers of individuals accessing domestic violence and sexual assault services increase, our programming continues to grow by strengthening community awareness and providing continued accessibility to services. The Bridge to Hope is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to keep our community safe. We provide one-on-one advocacy services, meet with victims at the hospital as a support during sexual assault nurse examinations, provide legal advocacy such as assistance with restraining orders, court practice, court accompaniment. We also provide emergency shelter, safety planning, case management, support groups, coordinated housing assistance, youth and family advocacy. And this includes in-school support groups and accompaniment to child forensic interviews. We engage in a wide variety of community events and community education presentations. In the past year, 3,318 community members attended our community education and outreach presentations and obtained valuable information about domestic violence, human trafficking, sexual assault, and other similar traumas. This empowers our community to work towards our vision of providing a bridge to hope that creates a safe, more just, and compassionate society. We are grateful that the Menomonie City Council shares this vision for our community and supports the Bridge to Hope's mission to provide support and healing to survivors and families while engaging with the community to recognize and prevent abuse. Thank you for your past support, and I'm respectfully asking you to continue the funding at our current level. Thank you.
Jen, one quick question. If we were to, somebody needed your help, is there an email address or a website that they can go to?
Yes, thebridgetohope.org. Also, we have our 24/7 hotline, the 715-235-9074, as well as a text line.
Okay, and is it the Bridge to Hope or just
Yes,
Bridge?
thebridgetohope.org. Yeah.
Thebridgetohope.org.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Great.
All
Thank
right.
you, Jen,
Thank
for
you
being
so
here.
much.
Appreciate it.
If I may.
And we're going to ask you to talk really loud, Donna.
I know. Thank you for the reminder.
Oh, okay.
I need that reminder. My name is Donna Collins. I am the director of the Menomonie Area Senior Center, doing business as the Shirley Doan Senior Center. My home address, I believe is what you want, is E6468 867th Avenue, and that is a Colfax address. Phone number, area code 847-757-4546. That is a mouthful. Mayor Knack, City Administrator, Mr. Atkinson, and council members. I'm going to speak briefly. I do have a board member who also wants to say a few words here today, but all of us at the Senior Center truly appreciate all of the support that the city has given us. And I'm sure that you have heard this before, and we'll hear it again many, many times, that you should be proud, and we are proud of Menomonie and the support that you give us, not only at the Senior Center, but all of the worthy organizations in Menomonie. The senior center itself, I hear time and again how happy everybody is about what it offers, and they are amazed. Some people come from Eau Claire for various reasons, and they're just absolutely in awe of what we do offer. You know, we don't have the exercise room like the Ellie Phillips senior set, excuse me, senior center in Menomonie does, or in Eau Claire does, but we have exercise programs. That is a big for a lot of the people that do come. Some days are just so full of guests that we don't even have the adequate parking, but that doesn't matter. They'll park in the street, they'll walk, they'll come in a different door just to be able to be a part of the senior center. So I thank you for backing us with that. And I do want to say that it provides such a wonderful venue for seniors. It's safe, it's fun, it's a great environment to socialize, to learn, and to find the gift of giving back to the community, which is what a lot of our people do. We run very largely on volunteers, and people are more than happy, even if it's just once a month, a couple times a year, just to be able to come and feel that purpose that they achieve when they come and provide a service for us. So it's wonderful. We were temporarily closed during COVID, and temporarily is kind of a mild word because it was well over a year before we could safely open. And then it took a while to get back to the place where people felt comfortable coming in and not jeopardized by getting sick. So we're almost there. I'm very, very glad. And if any of you have not had the pleasure of coming to the senior center, I know Mr. Atkinson came and was, I think, very amazed at what we were doing there. But I invite you to come and visit. You don't have to stay long. I'd be happy to give you a great tour, and you will see for yourselves what this provides to the seniors in our community. So I thank you. I know that many of you are very proud of what the city has to offer, and I'm very proud to be a part of the senior center and provide that input that you will for sure have a smile on your face if you come to visit and leave and see what we do. So thank you again for any future support and all of your support in the past.
Great, Donna. Thank you. How many members do you think the senior center has? And I know you have like a spaghetti feed or a dinner or something along those lines. Plus, you also serve a lot of other groups besides the seniors sometimes. I know that sometimes I stop in there and there are certain guests there that I was surprised to see. So how many people do you think you serve? I mean, do you have members that are, what's your
Yes.
membership?
Our membership is well over 800 paid members, and we are working at kind of getting a little bit more strict, but we are not the type of facility that checks membership at the door. We don't want people to feel that if they're not members, even though it's a very modest membership fee of $10 a year at the moment, but we don't want people to feel that they have to prove anything, but we do ask that they do join if they're going to partake. So well over 800 paid members. We send out, and this is just an example of it, we send out almost 1,000 newsletters by the mail. Okay. And then there are emailed newsletters, which couple almost 300. So that is organizations as well as individuals. So, you know, that's to be taken with a little grain of salt. But so we basically have over 1,000, probably upwards of 1,300 people that do use the senior center.
Wow. And if somebody wanted to get more information on scheduling or other events that you might have there, where would they go to?
We do have a website, and it is and Facebook page, which I don't handle. We have a wonderful office staff who is a young girl who has a lot more technology background than I do. But you go to MenomonieSeniorCenter.org.
Menomonie Senior seniorcenter.org.
And that has everything. The newsletter is posted on that. You could print it from that. You could also give us a call and get a newsletter via mail or email or both. And we would be happy to provide you with a calendar. The newsletter has a calendar every month in it. So everything is posted on there.
Thank you so much for being here, Donna. Appreciate it.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
The comment is still open.
I'm just going to add a bit to what Donna said. I'm Karen Martinson, 1306 Elm Avenue West in Menomonie. Phone number 715-235-3401. And thanks for the opportunity to speak. I just want you to know, and thanks for the city administrator, Eric Atkinson, for coming down. Randy, I know you've been there many times. We know you're familiar with the senior center, but Eric, not so much. So it was nice that you took the time to come and visit us. It is busy. I want you to know that seniors need a place to go. This is our home away from home. And I was there today and we had walkers. We had a cooking class in the dining room, men and women. We have a craft room. We had a group coming in to play mahjong, and we had an education group coming in. So it's busy. Tomorrow I'll be there again because even though Donna said we don't have an exercise room, we do have exercise classes for seniors. We have to move, keep moving, or you won't be able to move. So it provides an excellent resource for us. Card playing, bridge, other games. It is a wonderful place. This is my 4th year on the board of directors. We have a very active board, very committed board of directors. Oh, and I can't forget bingo on Friday either. That is well attended. And luncheons once a month. We have big luncheons. I'd like to say it's a wellness center for seniors. Emotionally, we need other people. Mentally, learn, grow, and physically. So thank you. Thank you for your support. It's really important. The senior center is indeed a viable part of this community. And I would just like to say that it doesn't just flow by itself. Donna is a big part of that. She is the director. Somebody's got to be on top of this, and she's your woman. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Karen, for being here and speaking. I know the senior center gives so much back to Menomonie. I know my mom used to go there and play bridge, and I used to try to help to say, hey, you know what, she's got this card and that card, and of course that didn't go over so good. But anyways, there's a lot of activities at the senior center, and it is amazing for so many people. So thank you for being here in support of it tonight, Karen and Donna. Yes, hi, Tammy. Give us your name and your address, please.
Good evening. My name is Tammy Simon. My address is 1125 North Broadway. Phone number 715-235-9087. I am the tourism manager at the Menomonie Area Chamber and Visitor Center. I'm tasked daily with promoting the Menomonie area to attract tourists who bolster our community through economic impact. I would like to speak briefly tonight about the importance of the Mabel-Tainer Center for the Arts in the tourism landscape here in Menomonie. The Mabel is one of the most popular destinations, not just within the city of Menomonie, but within the state of Wisconsin. Think about that. In the state of Wisconsin, it's the second most popular building, second most popular historic site. The destination routinely outperforms most others on our website, as well as on our social marketing channels. People come to Menomonie to catch a show at the Mabel. They come to Menomonie to take a tour of the Mabel, and they come to Menomonie to learn about the history that's held within those walls. The city is extremely lucky to have such a beautifully preserved building, a hub of culture, arts, and entertainment located right in our historic downtown. It adds charm to the character of Menomonie, and it is instrumental in making the city a place where people come to live, work, and play. Thank you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You're not off the hook that easy.
Not yet.
So you fill many roles at the chamber. And well, tourism director,
Tourism
Public
manager. Yep. Mhm.
manager, and you get out in the public.
Yes.
You talk to lots and lots of people.
Mhm.
So my question to you is, in tourism, what's the most important thing for people to come to Menomonie, to keep our motels operating, and how are we doing as a city overall as far as hotel stays and so forth?
We're actually doing pretty well as far as hotel stays are concerned. We have a lot of people who will come into town for a weekend. It's a kind of a weekend trip that we market. But many of our people will come for the historic downtown, for the shopping, for the entertainment, for the restaurants, for the bars, for our breweries, for our cheese factories, things like that. So as far as tourism is concerned, we are in a upswing. Our records were set last year. We're a little bit below last year, but thankfully our average daily rate has skyrocketed. So our income is about the same. So right now it's very healthy. We have a lot of things on the horizon. And we're continually looking for ways to improve and make Menomonie that place that people want to come to live and work and play.
Okay, I've heard the caption or the slogan "Heads in Beds." What is Heads in Beds, and can you explain that, please?
I sure can. So this is what I live by every single day. So the tourism manager position is in charge of marketing Menomonie to tourists. Those tourists come and stay in a hotel and they pay a hotel tax, which goes to the city, and the city pays 70% of that out to remarket the city of Menomonie to bring tourists in. So that is that heads in beds terminology. We're getting people to come, we're getting heads in our beds so that our occupancy percentage increases. And so our income increases so that we can remarket the city of Menomonie. But I like to say that more than heads in beds is people stewarding our businesses, our destinations, our gas stations, our restaurants, and keeping Menomonie alive.
And I know also that you and I have talked about this, how important all of the elements of Menomonie are.
Mhm.
The Mabel Tainter, the downtown restaurants, the lake not smelling and stinking up the city,
Mhm.
and
Trails.
trails and different things, the amenities of Menomonie. And have you ever taken account of how many things the Menomonie has to offer? I mean, we have the trails and we have the Mabel Tainter and we have the breweries and different things.
Mhm.
Have you ever taken account of how many things there are to offer people when they come to tour Menomonie?
I don't have a concrete number, but you can find them all at exploremenomonie.com.
I knew that was coming. ExploreMenomonie.com.
Yes.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Gosh, I'm waiting for my questions. Hi there. My name is Ashley Demuth. Our business affiliate address is 1125 North Broadway Street, Suite 3. Same phone number as Tammy is 715-235-9087. I have the pleasure of serving as CEO for our local Menomonie Area Chamber and Visitor Center. And while our name is not on there, we have not requested funds since 2021, but I am here today to provide some gratitude to you. I would like to say thank you for opening up this opportunity of funds through a city subsidy for all of these incredibly impactful organizations. As you can see when you look on that screen and reading between the lines of all of our organizations who did not request funds, we have a roster of incredibly impactful organizations, many of which who are chamber members or who are those tourism destinations. And while we're not requesting funds today, I'm here really to be a champion for them. I'm personally a volunteer on boards of directors. I'm a donor. I'm a volunteer in other capacities for many of these organizations as well. And these organizations are so very much deserving of the funds that they've requested. And I'm here to encourage you to adhere to their request and help support them in all of the ways that you can. Many of these organizations really are the heartbeat of our community, and all the while their employees are being paid nonprofit wages, and they pinch pennies as much as they can to make that dollar stretch as far as possible. They create innovative strategies and solutions, and they strive, as they always do, to be the most responsible stewards of funds, ensuring that dollars are well spent to continue making Menomonie a great place to live, work, and play, as Tammy talked about. So I'm just here to say thank you again for creating those opportunity funds. I'm here to be a champion for them, and we sincerely appreciate you opening up this subsidy meeting so you can hear from all of them directly.
All right. You have such a positive charm to you, and you bring that to the chamber office. How do you feel Menomonie's doing as far as marketing Menomonie? I know we have a housing situation, and we have, there's a number of issues that we're trying to resolve to make Menomonie a stronger, better place to work, grow and play and so forth. And we have amazing school district and so forth. If you were to give advice tonight on what area we need the most work or what direction we should take as a city of Menomonie, where would you point us?
I think the resonating with me there, Mr. Mayor, is really in the housing area, and that impacts everybody across the board. From a workforce standpoint, housing is a significant challenge. And when we look at the housing study and information, talent acquisition to our community, we have positions that are open. However, the wage does not match the housing availability. So it's really looking at creating more affordable housing that would be appropriate for the wages that we have available in our community. And we're still playing a little bit of a catch up with that as well. We tend to be a little behind of other communities. And I think that Menomonie is becoming very progressive and having a forward thinking lens for that.
Well, that's a great statement. And I know that you being in the position you're in with the chamber, you have a heartbeat of Menomonie. So I appreciate your comments. And I appreciate you being here this evening. Thank you, Ashley. The comment is open.
My name is Patrick Gallagher. I'm the Executive Director of Stepping Stones of Dunn County, 1602 Stout Road. Telephone number is 715-235-2920. 2 years ago, I not only was able in November 2 years ago to come before this group of wonderful community members and talk about the subsidy grants, but during that same month, I made a case along with a lot of the leadership that the city has, that the city should work with Stepping Stones on a grant application for a new shelter. Next week is our open house. I cannot thank you enough. The work that we're going to be able to do with that new shelter and those 20 beds and 20 beds in bedrooms that they don't share with anybody. Everybody's got their own bathroom. That's their space. It's going to be their space for a month up to 2 months. Our case managers are going to work with folks, and we're going to be able to better help them get to better situations. And it's all thanks to you. You've done something amazing for this community. Now, I'm asking for something. You helped us build some capacity, but now we need to take advantage of it. In the past 3 years, and I've been here just a little more than 3 years in my role as Executive Director of Stepping Stones, our operating budget has more than doubled. And the biggest reason for that is the need that we're seeing in the community. In fact, that is the only reason for it. We're seeing unprecedented demand for our pantry, and we're seeing unprecedented demand for shelter. The majority of the service through our pantry and our emergency shelter is to residents of Menomonie. And in the case of shelter, the majority, 58% of shelter nights were provided in both 2022 and 2021 to individuals whose last locations of residence was the city of Menomonie. Now, this is a fantastic community. We've been hearing from a lot of the organizations that make this a fantastic community, but there is some pretty high need in this community. We have expanded our capacity, but we need help to do it. One of the reasons why food insecurity is actually on the rise that we're seeing is there have been cuts to some government programs that were increased during the pandemic. And at the same time, food prices have gone up significantly. We're providing more than 60,000 pounds of food every month through our pantry program. November is always our busiest month. We're looking at approaching 100,000 pounds of food just going out during this month. On the shelter side, we have been able to subsidize some of the incredible shelter numbers that we have seen over the past 2 or 3 years through temporary government grants through the state. Last year, we provided 11,000 shelter nights to individuals who were facing nights sleeping in cars, sleeping in storage sheds, couch surfing. 11,000 shelter nights. 58% of those, again, were for folks from the city of Menomonie. Those temporary grants that made it so we could meet those high numbers over the past couple of years are largely dropping off, decreasing, or they're disappearing altogether. The community development block grants that helped us through working in collaboration with the county over the past 3 years are going to be at a sum total of 0 next year. That was the largest source of shelter funding. So we have grown, and now we're taking a bit of a leap of faith. That leap of faith has a plan and an approach to it, though. One of them is me standing here asking for a 50% increase to what our ask has been over the past 3 years. In the document for submittal for the subsidy grant, I showed increased operating costs when it comes to food. I showed increased shelter nights, and I showed a proportional decrease of the percentage of our budget that was subsidized through the city. We are well below 3% currently of our budget being subsidized by the city. And the request that I put in front of you is still going to keep it very much in the low single digits as far as a percentage of our budget. So I know that you have some difficult decisions to make. I'm trying to walk a bit of a balance, gratitude and request. I lead with gratitude. I'll finish with my request. Remember the folks in the community that need help the most when you're making these decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Question for you. So I remember meeting with the governor, and I think he wrote a check out for $1,400,000 to put together a new facility for you. I believe you have a grand opening coming up, and tell me a little bit, just real brief, on when that is, and if somebody needed to contact Stepping Stones, how would they do that?
Yes, so we're having 2 open houses, and so an open house for 2 nights. Next Monday from 4 to 7 p.m. and next Tuesday from 1 to 4 p.m. And you are all absolutely welcome to see the facility. And when you show up, we'll talk you through the ways that we're going to use that facility to really make a difference in people's lives. When folks need assistance, they need to reach out to us by phone or by email, preferably. They can show up, but we're still operating off of a wait list. We always have double the number of households on our wait list than we have capacity for. And that wait list is always full.
And your phone number and your email address is what?
Yes. The phone number is 715-235-2920. And Heidi's going to kill me, but I'm going to give her email address.
We love Heidi.
That is h.hooten, HOOTEN @steppingstonesdc.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, our public comment is still open if anybody else would like to speak. Last call for public comments. Okay, we're going to move on to the rest of our meeting here. Thank you all for being here first off, and thank you for commenting. It brings us into the subsidy request list and form. It is up on your screen, on different screens behind us, etc. Where we would take this meeting now is if anybody wanted to propose a different dollar value on any of the subsidies, or we could make a motion to move this in for final review for our upcoming meeting, reviewing the budget, et cetera. But we do need these final number tabulations so Eric can put them into an equation to give you the final analysis of where our budget's going to go. So with that, I'll turn the microphone over to Eric just for a moment.
Either at this meeting or the next one that's going to follow, I would request city council make its adjustments and final approvals on whatever you would like to do with these subsidy requests. Those subsidy requests will be factored into the mill rate propositions that I'll provide to you on November 20th. And I need the amounts of money that you would allocate for this in order to make those formulas work for those final decisions for the 20th.
Okay, and so in front of you is the requests that have been made by the organizations and so forth. We could go through each, or we could just analyze them as a total. There is a note on for two deletions this year. One would be Dunn County Economic Development Corps and the Greater Menomonie Development Corps. There's a possibility of a merger or something, a different transpiration of those organizations. So with that being said, those dollar amounts might come out a little bit different in the future to this body, but for tonight, it is not on the subsidy request. Did I say that accurately, Eric?
You did. So the Dunn County Economic Development Corporation is undergoing transformation right now, and they're looking at reallocating funds into a combined effort that would include also the city of Menomonie. So that's why they are not included on this. And the Greater Menomonie Development Corporation is a group that we routinely provide subsidy to. They would also be a partner in that development or creating a new economic development type strategy for both the city of Menomonie and Dunn County. And that is why they were not included on here. Now, when that plan has actually come to fruition, we'll bring that in front of you, and then you can determine what kind of funds, if any, if you would like to provide for that, or if you have support for that particular program.
Great. Thank you, Eric. So at this time, then, if anybody'd like to make a motion to or bring up any conversation, either way of either any changes and or modifications and or approval as a whole, we can certainly take that at this time. I'm sorry, Gretchen.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the funding at the 2024 requested levels for financial assistance this year.
Okay, I think that's a good motion, correct? That's a good motion. If anybody would like to second it, we can certainly do that at this time or move it forward. Mary?
I just want to understand Gretchen's motion. So you're talking about the 245,253.
So, and the way I understand your motion too is all the subsidy requests shown on this sheet, the final column and in yellow would be as presented, correct? Okay, very good. Thank you. Yes, Mary?
Then I would make a motion or I would second Gretchen's motion.
Okay, so motion on the floor and seconded to approve the subsidy request as presented this evening. Discussion. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can I just get a clarification on the motion? Was that the motion to approve at the line in the yellow here at 209, or this one as requested by
The requested levels, the 245,000 total.
Okay.
Okay, and Mary, is that your second to that motion? Okay, thank you for the clarification. Eric, thank you for clarification on that. Lee?
I have a question with the Ludington Guard band. There's a lot of new benches out there. Who paid for those?
That was the Ludington Guard Band in conjunction with the city of Menomonie. Eric?
So the increase that Ludington Guard Band was asking for is a one-time increase to replace chairs on the actual stage where the Ludington Guard Band perform. So they would like to replace those chairs this year.
And benches.
And benches, I'm sorry, and some additional benches as well.
All on the stage?
Stage and out in front. There's a combination, some of each. I talked to Anita and she said there'd be some benches and new chairs.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, if we do the 245,000, that is how, I'm a little confused how Duncan Economic Development and Greater Menomonie Development, where those dollars are coming from, because certainly when you look at the budget from 2023, it was $255,714. So the motion we have right now is less than that.
Right.
But what happens? Is that money going to be put in contingency? Where is it hiding? Where's it going to come from?
Yep, I would think it would come out of contingency, or it could come out of economic development. There's also some, well, go ahead, Eric. He's ready.
To be real frank about it, what we would do is we would pull that funding then and bill it to the tax increment districts. So we would do tax increment district number 17. So that money would sit out of there unless city council would prefer to take it out of a contingency fund, which you can also do that as well. But since it's for economic development, it would certainly fit our tax increment districts. And we have done similar type moves with some of the funding. As you'll see up on the Mabel Tainer and then the Main Street, Menomonie Incorporated, they sit in our tax increment district number 15, and we've been able to bill that district for it and make those payments. So that would be the plan.
So it could be either or, Lee. It could be contingency monies, but it could come out of the tax increment districts, correct?
Yes.
Not a specific district. I'm sorry, Lee.
I think there's been a misstatement too by the Mabel Tainter. Last year, they did not receive 60,000. They received 45,000.
Yeah, they requested 60 and there was a little snafu, and
But when they asked for the same funding as last year, it'd be 45,000, not 60,000.
well, yes, I know exactly what you're saying. The request last year was 460. There was a snafu a little bit, and so they ended up receiving 45,000. And they requested 60 this year as a request for 60. Penny.
So what is the rationale? I'm assuming the recommendations are coming with a group effort between yourself and Eric and whomever. What's the rationale behind the recommendation amount versus the requested amount, and why are those numbers less?
Try to save money, essentially what it is. That's the simple answer.
Well, and it depends on too how much of an increase some of the different requests might have been for. You know, if it's 1,000 or two versus larger. But I know when Pedrick got up too and just spoke about the the upcoming needs that he has. I mean, everybody has needs, of course, so I think in rationality, this is a small amount to pay really for the benefits that Menomonie receives. I'm not sure if each entity is getting enough or is getting too much. I'm not sure of all that. That's more of all of what you all can discuss. I know that the bulk numbers is what Eric and I really talk about a lot more, and what it's going to relate to in taxpayer dollars. But I know that we really try hard to put more industry in our industrial park, and we try to work through all of the other expenses. And if it weren't for the hard work of the city council and the administration, these subsidies wouldn't even be available. So, it's hats off to everybody that works so hard on this. And I'm comfortable with whatever decision the city council makes tonight. I'm sure Eric can funnel that into the budget and make it palatable for all of us to adhere to. So, but first, Gretchen, Eric had his hand up. Eric, go ahead, please.
Oh,
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. So it shows some asterisks here as far as 2 line items, and the funding is through TID 15, as it stated. Is that historically been that way, and will that continue being funded in that manner as well moving forward, I guess, is my question.
My plan is to continue that funding through the tax increment districts. If history serves right, Lowell had started doing that several years ago by billing that out in order to try to save expenses on the general fund to improve contingency amounts. And that has worked out well. So as long as something doesn't change in line with those tax increment districts, my plan is if it can fit within one of our tax increment districts, that's where I would put that money.
Okay, so if there's opportunities to get more funding for some of these programs in the future, you would go ahead and try to make that happen, I guess is my question.
Absolutely.
Ultimate
Yes, absolutely. And if it's the council's decision to try to do increases as to what the subsidies asked, I will do I'll just do it and make sure that we are able to allocate those fundings and then put those into, if I can, tax increment districts or in other accounts.
Right. And we have created some new TIDs just recently as a board. And so that's the good side or the positive side of these TIDs that we create is being able to use those funds to finance these type of programs. And I guess I just wanted to make that point because sometimes there's some pushback on these TIDs. And the reality is these TIDs are a good thing. And this is a prime example of the good things that those TIDs bring to the community.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree wholeheartedly.
You totally hit the nail on the head. The TIDs do so much good for the city of Menomonie and the encompassing areas also, because once the TIDs close out, but a lot of times if these TIDs were not created, we would not have the job growth or the economic growth or the impact to the community. So absolutely, a lot of communities would be so eager to have TIDs available to them, and Menomonie and the city council has done an amazing job implementing TID districts. So, good question and a great answer. Thank you, Gretchen.
As a general comment, I believe that the economic value of these, just in itself, the response. It is a small amount of funding, I feel, compared to what we receive from a community. And there's enough variety in the organizations that we're supporting that we're covering huge swaths of our population in the city with relatively small. I kind of think of the Mabel Tainer as our stadium, because we don't have, larger cities, larger communities have $20 million stadiums. Well, we get a stadium level amount of tourism relative to the size of our city from a very small amount of money as far as tourism coming in. And history is kind of our uniqueness in the area, as the history of Menomonie, that's part of it. And it's kind of a whole package. But also with regards to Humane Society and Stepping Stones and the Leisure Center, there's huge amounts of our population. And I've interacted with all those organizations in the last week, at Historical Society and the Main Street and the, Ludington Garter Band. We used their banjo recently after the season, but it's just each one of these organizations has touched our lives as city residents, weekly. I interact. So I really feel that we need to at least support at the request level, especially considering the cost of living and the inflation costs. To keep them at level is actually reducing them. So definitely strongly support keeping it at the requested levels, because I feel that they're all been very good stewards of the money that we give them.
Okay, thank you, Gretchen. And I do appreciate the fact that the recipients were here to speak about their needs and what a positive impact it makes to their work and what they do for the community. So it's very well appreciated. Mary, did you have your hand up a minute ago? Oh, well, but I know I could just see it. I could just see it on your face. So I guess from here, yes.
I just want to take a moment and thank the organizations that are here asking for money when it's not always easy to do. I sat in that chair for a lot of years, and so I know how what you need and hope that you get it. And that's kind of why I agree with Gretchen with a second. It's what you do for our community is pretty profound, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And I applaud you for the passion that you have for the jobs that you are doing. And also the Mabel Tainer, I mean, it's kind of come leaps and bounds since not very long ago. And so I applaud them for the outstanding job that they're doing. And Stepping Stones, I'm just so excited to see that building open up. I've wanted one of those for years and years and years, and wow, it's going to be a great day for our community. So thank you all for what you do for our community.
I knew you're gifted. And you're a good gifted speaker. Thank you. And anything else from we have a motion and a second on the floor. Anybody else want to make a comment regarding? Otherwise, we'll take it to a vote. Roll call vote, please.
Luther,
Yes.
Firstad,
Yes.
Sutherland,
Yes.
Yanko,
Yes.
Schwebs,
Yes.
Gentz,
Yes.
Solberg,
Yes.
Summerfeld.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you all for being here and thank you for this. I think that was our main agenda item for this evening on this first meeting. We do have another meeting at 7 o'clock this evening, an actual city council meeting. So with that, I'm sorry. Okay, so with that being said, if anybody'd like to make a motion to adjourn this particular meeting and we'll come back at 7 o'clock, Cody?
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn. Is there a second to that motion? Eric?
I'll second that, Randy.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.